Nagaland News Network is here with Gautam Mukhopadhyay. He is the former ambassador of India to Syria, Afghanistan, and most specifically, what we're here to talk to him about is he was also the former ambassador to Myanmar. And we just concluded the symposium of the India-Myanmar border issue, where the scrapping of FMR and as well as fencing of the border has been taken up by the center, the government of India. Thank you, sir, for speaking to us. So you've been the ambassador to Myanmar for 3 years, 2013 to 2016. In those years, being the ambassador, did you ever think that such a move would have been made, at this point of time?
No, frankly, it has come as a total surprise because FMR has never seriously been an issue. From time to time, issues of security have been there, cross border insurgencies, but nobody has ever thought of lifting the FMR as a solution to those problems. People have thought of border fencing up to a point, and as I mentioned in an article that I wrote, there are also competing notions of how to deal with border security. But essentially, there was no really strong case that the problems at the border were of such a scale or nature that they required very maximalist measures.
So you've been in conflict zones as ambassadors, Syria, Afghanistan, and Myanmar. So do you think conflict zone should be the government, the center, the main government, the ruling government should take up such measures in such conflict zones? Because I don't think we have that much of a grave or drastic situation or incident that is Afghanistan going through or Syria is going through. The Indo-Myanmar border seems to be fairly still not so violent, I would say. So do you think their approach, again, I'm going to ask you the same, is again too, are they just going full throttle in this?
Yeah, I think they're inviting trouble. I think they're going to cause problems where there were no problems. I think I mentioned some of these issues. For example, the understanding of many of the tribal communities who live on both sides of the border, they accepted a border that they don't accept in principle, on the understanding that at least movement will not be interrupted. So now, if you question the movement and you start imposing a hard frontier, even if you say it is in the name of regulation, uh, people will question that border. And people can question that border from all sides. And one of the speakers also talked about, the various competing claims for land and identity that we have in the Northeast. It could exacerbate those problems as well. So you will actually create turmoil where, okay, there's always been some degree of turmoil in the Northeast, but you're likely to aggravate this, and you could aggravate it to a point that is serious enough as a kind of national security issue.
Also coming back again the border issue, they have always been from the look east policy to the act east policy now. Do you think it was just on paper that the government was doing all of this and now they're closing everything, the connection that is supposed to happen with Southeast Asia, specifically with Nagaland? We're going to build roads and connectivity was supposed to be, and now they're fencing it. So what do you think, it was just on paper that this was all being said?
Yeah. No, there is clearly a contradiction. If you talk to them, they will give you, explanations as to why this will not really contradict. I mean, it doesn't mean that road connectivity will stop. People will still be able to cross. It's all that the nature of the crossing will become much more formal. So all that is possible. But I think in principle there is a contradiction between saying that you want look east, act east, neighborhood first, people to people connectivity, and actually introducing uh, uh, obstructions and blocks precisely between the peoples who are of the same family living on two sides of the border. So, how do you justify that?
Lastly, sir, what do you think, being a notable, having a notable career in the Indian Foreign Services, what do you think the government of Nagaland should actually decide? Yes, the chief minister has also said that they are against it, but do you think they have the grit to go against such a big decision from the center, and especially of a different party, political party?
I think many of your speakers today already expressed themselves, and they are from here. They are much better qualified to speak on that.
Maybe an
So,
advice?
No, clearly, we don't know whether they were consulted. We are presuming that they were not consulted. So clearly, if they were not consulted on issues that are of intimate and direct concern, from a social, family, kinship, and other customary terms, then they need to voice their opinion. uh, People spoke in much stronger terms.
Yes.
But definitely, I think the approach should be to at least initiate a dialogue
Yes.
and see if this whole, in my view, misjudgment can be corrected. Whether they have the strength to do that, basically, the Northeast does not have the numbers
Yeah.
uh, to count significantly in national politics, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's possible to to do things like this unilaterally.
Yes, it's true. All right. Thank you so much.